Well, good morning. This is Dr. Bill Williams, and we're here for another version of the Influencers Podcast, another session. And today we have an exciting lineup, starting with Alexis Schuller of 17 West Management. I want to bring her on right now. Welcome, Alexis.
Hi, Dr. Bill. How are you?
So good to have you on. I look forward to finding out all about what 17 West Management is all about. I think the audience is going to be very entertained and excited to hear what you have to share because influencer marketing and influencer podcast have something in common, and that is finding influencers to share with the world. And you're an expert in that area. So let's start off by you telling us where you were and tell us what happened. What was the thing that got you to be where you are today?
So, I grew up in New Jersey, and my dad always owned multiple businesses, and he did very well for himself and our family. I grew up going to job sites with him, and I always thought it was so inspiring that he got to run the show. So, when I was 8 years old, I walked into his office and I said, "Dad, I want to make some money." And he said, "Okay." So, he gave me some office work, and I did that for a couple of days. And then I said, "No, Dad, like I want to make my own money." So I designed a sign in his office that said Lexi's Bake Sale. And every single Sunday from there, me and him we would go on the back of a golf cart and drive around the campground that we used to camp at, and we would sell my baked goods. My dad would drive, I would do the selling. And I was profiting almost $100 every single Sunday doing this when I was 8 years old. So from there, I learned obviously about profit margin, and the more products that we'd buy and the more that I sold, I would make more money. When I was 9, I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, which is an incurable disease. So I grew up with that. And in my teenage years, I was surrounded by some people that would tell me that I wouldn't be able to achieve anything or reach my goals, being that I had cystic fibrosis and that it would stop me. I believed them for a while, and I even dropped out of college when I first started due to this. And then just one day I woke up and I said, "All right, enough is enough. I am going to make something of myself, whether I have a disease or not." And I went back to college. I got my bachelor's degree in 3 years with a 4.0 GPA. I graduated. I continued bartending after I was done because I wasn't sure if I wanted a 9 to 5. And while I was in college, I always did freelance social media work. And I said, I can make a business out of this. So I turned around and I built a business doing social media and influencer marketing. And now my agency focuses more on influencer marketing because it is such a huge industry. And I found that it's something that I'm so passionate about and I love it.
Wow, Alexis, that's an amazing story. I mean, that's not your average springboard to success. It's better than, that's better than anything I've seen lately. Jumping into it at 8 years old, I think you beat me. My granddad bought me a pack of pencils and said, go out and sell these in the neighborhood. That was my introduction to sales when I was probably 10 years old. So, hey, well done. And
Thank
you told your father that, yeah, I got to do it on my own. So that's even better. Way to go. I know it's not always been rosy for you. What was your greatest failure story? What'd you learn from that? And how'd you recover?
you. So, my greatest failure, I would say when I first started off with my agency, I was focused more on quantity over quality. So my client vetting process was not that great. I figured that I just wanted to build up my book of business and my portfolio. So I felt taking on any and every client that wanted to work with me would work for me. And it did not. Even though I've learned that just because I'm a fit for a client doesn't mean that that client is a fit for me and the direction of my business. So I learned that in the beginning. And I recovered from it by fixing my discovery calls, asking more questions when I am vetting a client to see if that would be a good fit. And since doing that, I've noticed a great difference. And also just saying no to a client if they just don't align with my agency, and directing them to an agency that would fit their needs has helped me tremendously.
Well, you have wisdom beyond your age, obviously, because it takes some people a long time to learn the lesson that you can't be everything to everybody. And well done at a young age. You've had a little bit of an experience in life and in business quicker than most people. So tell us, what are the three reasons people fail, in particular in the influencer marketing business?
So, failing in the influencer marketing business would have to attest to a few things. So, not clearly defining a marketing campaign goal. I've worked with I work with both the brand and the creator side in influencer management and marketing, and that is a definitely a downfall. If you don't clearly define the goal of the campaign, so what ROI are you looking for, then the campaign is all over the place. Also, another thing is working with the wrong influencers. I see so many brands choosing to work with influencers just because they have a large following, but their audience won't necessarily be the brand's target audience. So it doesn't really fit well. And then lastly, prioritizing reach over content. So with influencer marketing, just because an influencer has a million followers doesn't mean that you're going to get a higher ROI than somebody who might have working with an influencer that has 40,000 followers. It all depends on the influencer's audience. It depends on how much their content is going to reach their audience, and if their audience is an audience that will purchase or be influenced by their suggestions.
So you really said something important there, talking about the platform has to match the product, and the audience and the platform are specifically different between the major platforms. You really won't find the same audience on a TikTok as you would on a Facebook or an Instagram or a LinkedIn, particularly. So, how do you differentiate which platform matches uh, the brand that you want to promote?
So I would definitely hiring somebody who is educated in influencer marketing will greatly help you with that. They are able to study the influencer's engagement rate, their views, their past content, also reviewing maybe past brand deals or other brands that they've worked with to see if they would align, and basically just really studying their content and making sure that it would align with your brand and what ROI you're looking for. So if you would be looking for exposure, then you might want to go for somebody who has, a lot of followers, a lot of views, versus if you were looking for an audience that converts, you're going to want to look for an influencer with a really high engagement rate because that means their audience is engaged with them.
So you're saying that metrics need to be known and understood and accessible to
Yes.
the marketing agent and ultimately to the brand.
Yes, I'm a big numbers person, and metrics are a big thing when it comes to influencer marketing.
I tend to agree with that. So let's move into the lightning round. I want to ask you, what motivates you internally to do what you do?
I love social media. I've loved it for 6 years, and the fact that I have been able to turn a passion into a career is something that just motivates me every single day.
What is your company, 17 West? What is the motto of your company?
The motto of my company is communication. I prioritize client communication over everything. I feel the biggest downfall with a lot of businesses is there's an interruption in communication, and that is what will keep a client.
Do you have like three secrets you can share with us that you can help others model from that work?
When you post content, be authentic. You will naturally attract people that are on the same vibe as you. Also, visualizing your future and working backwards. Sometimes goals can be so scary when you look at them, but I've found if I break it down into little tiny pieces and work through each thing, that it makes it feel like the goal is the easiest thing to accomplish. And then lastly, you are who you surround yourself with.
I believe that. You are the people you hang around with, and you are the books you read, and the people you hang out with is what I've heard say many times. Why should someone buy from you, become your client?
So at my agency, I prioritize my clients. I only take on what I can handle. And I am a hard worker, and I want everybody to experience success when working with me. I treat every client that I have that is, for example, an influencer management client, I treat their business like it's my business. And I understand when you're putting your business into somebody else's hands, it's a very scary thing. So I make sure all my clients feel comfortable and they could trust me.
So, would you buy from yourself?
I would.
Who's your ideal client out there?
So my ideal client is either a brand that is looking to start influencer marketing or continue influencer marketing, and they want to start working with influencers that will be able to sell their product to their audience. And then also creators that are looking for a talented influencer manager that could help them land brand deals, sponsorships, and various opportunities.
So, you work with the clients and the influencers, you kind of go between them.
Yes. And I found
How-
working with both sides, I am able to I understand both sides even better. So it helps me if I'm working with the brand, I understand the influencer side. And then if I'm working with the creator, I understand the brand side of it.
How does an influencer get paid?
So an influencer gets paid if they have a brand deal, they get paid by the brand. And then from there, their influencer manager usually makes a commission off of that.
And the benefit to the brand is basically more eyes on the product and social proof that somebody believes in them, and they transfer that trust to their audience.
Yes, through exposure. Yep.
All righty. Now tell us, how do you find these clients once you have identified your target that you want to work with?
So when I find my clients, I post a lot of content on social media, so TikTok, Instagram, and I've been able to attract clients that way. That's the only way I market. And then when I work with a brand, I help them find their influencers through my own research. I have a roster of influencers that I work with, and I also just scrolling through social media, I make so many connections with influencers that I'm able to match them with the brand.
Well, it just happens to be real. I saw one of your new Instagram um, posts today that came up on a new uh, account. So I think it's working. I see you everywhere.
That's good.
Tell us about your products, the things that you actually have to sell. What do you call them, and what are they?
So for my products, all of my products are service. I offer services. So I offer influencer marketing campaigns. So I manage the entire campaign. So this would be for brands looking to work in the influencer marketing space and connect their product with an influencer. So I work on that and I manage the entire campaign, or I do consulting on that. And then I also do influencer management, and that is with the influencer. So I manage influencers and I will help them get brand deals. I handle their emails. I handle all of their negotiations, invoicing, everything. So they could just focus on creating content, which is what they do best. And then I also offer social media consulting for brands and creators. I have just recently started consulting other social media agencies on influencer marketing, like adding that service to their list. And I offer a little bit of everything.
Sounds good. For such a young lady, you've accomplished a lot, and I congratulate you on that. But there's a lot of competition out there. So, what do you do to crush that competition?
I find to crush my competition, I post so much content. And in my content, I make sure one, that I'm myself and authentic. And two, I want people on camera to see how passionate I am about what I do and how educated I am. So, and once I get that point across through the camera, I feel I naturally attract clients and I crush my competition.
Yeah, I kind of know the feeling. I started off as a dentist, a young dentist. Of course, when you get out of school, you don't have any clients and you look young. And you have to trust that somebody's going to show up in that front door. But once you get the first patient, once you get your first client, then the word of mouth starts to kick in and your reputation will grow rapidly. And so I'm sure that's what you've done.
Yes, and as soon as you have your first testimonial, it's from there. As long as you have proof that you can succeed.
Yeah, I rely on social proof, so I know exactly what you're saying. What are the top 3 online platforms right now that you recommend that you are using and you recommend others use?
My number one platform is TikTok. I will tell anybody, whether you're a brand, a person, a creator, you have to be on TikTok. From TikTok, also Instagram. Instagram is still very high up there. And then a third online platform would be Facebook or LinkedIn. I always recommend posting on multiple platforms because, one, if in the event that something was to happen to a platform, at least you're also on other ones. And every platform is a little bit different also. LinkedIn, I feel it's a little bit more informative, and TikTok is short form video content, and then Instagram focuses on reels or photos, and then your daily data life with your Instagram stories. So it allows you to be a little bit of everything.
Now, if you are going to deliver the 5-star client experience, what's your 1, 2, 3 steps to do that?
Delivering my 5-star client experience, as I said before, I focus strongly on communication. Every single day, my clients will get some sort of update from me. Weekly, on Mondays or Fridays, I have calls with my current clients to go over anything that has happened throughout the week. And I feel communication is just the top of everything. You want the person that you're working with to feel trusted. I also like to form somewhat of a more personal relationship with everybody that I work with, being that we work with each other on a daily basis. And it requires a lot of trust when someone puts their business in your hands.
Absolutely. Trust in your marketing agency is critical, and you rely on them for your own success. So if you give a 5-star experience, what's the next step to convert those clients to brand ambassadorship?
So once I give a client a 5-star experience, I've realized that turns into a referral. And now I have someone that is going around and will refer me to anybody that might say they need somebody for social media or influencer marketing. And so that it's just a natural brand ambassador once I deliver the 5-star service.
What do you find gives you more referral capital? Your ambassadors that you represent to other ambassadors, or the clients you represent that are brands to other brands?
I think it would be a little bit of both, but I do think with the brands, they are a better brand ambassador because they can refer me to other influencers that they might come across, but also other brands that they might be in partnership with. And they will also come back to me and work with me again.
And that's where the money is. So a
Yes.
good thing. So what about gratefulness? You've gotten some pretty good feedback from your clients, from your brands and your ambassadors. What are you grateful for today related to your business?
In terms of my business, I am grateful for everything. I'm so grateful that I took this jump to start something that seems so scary, and now it's worth everything to me. And also within the last year, I've started practicing gratitude every single day, and I've just noticed such a difference like in my mindset on a daily basis because I am truly grateful for everything.
Now, I happened to see one of your TikToks about how you were grateful for your first client, your first one. You were singing to your dog. Remember that TikTok?
Yes, I do.
Tell us about your puppy.
So my puppy, I got him about a year and a half ago, and I rescued him from a shelter. And I have never experienced a bond with a pet like that before, and he is all day long. I work from home, and he's right underneath my chair. He's like my little sidekick.
Lovely, lovely. Well, working from home does have its advantages when it comes to having pets, and you can start your day any way you like. So tell us how, Alexis, do you start your day?
So I found working from home can be challenging because your office is in your house. So it's very tempting to make your office your bedroom. So when I wake up, I instantly get out of bed, and I found implementing a morning routine is key for me. I start off the day with meditation. I read a little bit. I eat a very healthy breakfast. I drink some carrot juice. I take my health supplements, and then I will get ready for the day. And then I make sure I get my work done at my office.
Jumping right in. That's good. How do you plan to achieve your career goals now?
So far, everything seems to be working out pretty great for me. I work very hard, and I plan to achieve all my goals through I goal plan at the beginning of every year and the beginning of each month. I evaluate at the end of the month how close I am to getting to my yearly goals. Did I complete my monthly goals? So the biggest thing is just organizing my goals and seeing them written down and visualizing them and working really hard.
So what are you going to feel like if you don't achieve this goal?
Not achieving a goal is definitely a bad feeling, but also I write down very large goals. So even chipping away at a goal, as long as I make some sort of progress, I am happy with that. But I also am a hard worker, and I don't like saying I didn't achieve something. So
How do you overcome a challenge when life throws one at you?
my mindset used to be why me when anything would happen to me, and now I say why not me. I have the ability to handle anything that happens to me, and I obviously was given to it for a reason. So that's my new mindset this in the last couple years.
Have you personally had any experience with paid digital media like the Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn ads?
So being in the space that I am working in social media and influencer marketing, I do not use paid ads. I focus just on creating content and putting it out on social media, and I've experienced success from that.
Does does the brand that you work with, do they have budgets that they spend on marketing? Now, some of it's for influencers, some of it's paid ads. Do you have any percentages that you would share that you know that are average in the industry?
So I would recommend for brands in terms of paid ads, I recommend them focusing strictly on influencer marketing and user generated content. That right now is just everything, and they could actually have a higher ROI if they focus on that versus paid digital media ads. That I would recommend 10% of their revenue to be spent on influencer marketing or UGC. And I've worked with clients that have spent, $10,000 a month on paid ads, which accumulates over the year. But then also, I've worked with clients that will not spend anything on paid ads, strictly just posting their content. And with that, they'll have six-figure months. So it really just depends on how well you could create content and put yourself out there on social media.
I definitely agree. Paid content works, and paid content can be a bomb. So it
Hmm.
depends on the content and how it's
Yes.
delivered and who's doing the
And it all
work. It's not
depends on,
just the fact you have.
yeah.
Tell us what advice you would give yourself as you've had a few years of success beyond 20 now. What would you tell the beginning young lady when she's going into business?
So when I was 20, I was so lost. I was trying all different things to figure out what career path I was looking for. I did real estate for a little bit. I was a life insurance agent for a little bit. And I was bartending, getting myself through college. If I could have, but when I was 20, I wanted to start my social media agency. I just waited 2.5, 3 years to start it because I was scared. So the biggest piece of advice I would give myself would be the thing that scares you the most is going to be worth the most. So go for it.
Excellent. Well, you said you were a real estate agent and you were a life insurance agent. Did you realize how valuable the knowledge you have in those two areas is to your future because you already understand?
Yes.
That's the big deal. I mean, a lot of young people don't have that background of real estate. Knowing how to invest will be huge to you in the future.
For
And
sure. It helped me
yeah,
tremendously with sales as well.
and sales. So yeah, you've had a lot of life experience that can roll into success. So people shouldn't judge you too quickly. You have a lot more depth than people would realize, I think.
Thank you.
What about your living mentor now? Who is that, and what's the impact on you?
My living mentor is my dad. My dad has owned multiple businesses, so he knows what he's talking about. And also, my dad is more of a realist, so I will come to him with business ideas or a direction for my business, and he will sometimes bring me back down to earth and say, "Okay, but did you think about this?" And then I'm like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." So he definitely helps ground me, and it's so nice being able to run my ideas past him and get his feedback, being that he has run so many successful businesses in his life.
Sounds like a winner, and you sound a lot like my two children. I have two boys, and y'all could be poster children for each other. Why is being impactful important to you when we talk about impact on the world?
I think everybody should be impactful. It makes life about something larger than yourself.
And if you look back when it's all said and done, you're up there in age and you're looking back at your children and grandchildren. What do you want to be remembered for?
Well, I definitely want to be remembered for being successful. I also want to be remembered for helping other people discover their own potential and also just making everybody feel like a somebody.
And in our influencer world, our podcast audience, there are a lot of people out there who probably are resonating right now with what you're saying, and they'd like to reach you. They'd like to know more about 17 West Management. Can you give us some links, some connection points to you?
Yeah. So you could definitely support me through just resharing this podcast to your audience. Also, connecting with me on LinkedIn and following me on Instagram. It's 17 West Management. And those are the best ways to connect with me. And then through connecting with me on those, you can message me or reach out to me via email, which is in the bio on all those accounts.
I think that's pretty much going to do it for reaching you. And I think that people would be wise to do that if they're looking for a brand manager who's vivacious and energetic. I think they know where to go. Alexis Schuller of 17 West Management. What would you say about your guest experience on our show today, Alexis?
I just want to say thank you to Dr. Bill for allowing me to have this opportunity. And I've never been on a podcast before, and this was an amazing experience for the first one that I was on. So I'll never forget it for sure.
Well, for the first one, Ace, you did well, and I would have never known it was your first. And it's always good to experience a new form of promotion. This is a very significant promotional tool, the podcast, and I'm sure you'll add that to your bailiwick as time goes on and add that to what you offer people. Alexis, I'm going to give you the last moments here. I'm going to let you have 2 or 3 minutes to share with the audience any final words that you'd like to say.
My final word would be if you are a brand or a creator and you are not on social media, you need to get on social media. Post your content, be you. You will attract a audience that is could buy your services, buy your products. if you're a brand, you need to market your business on social media, get involved in influencer marketing, start working with influencers. The opportunities are endless. Social media and 2023, the time we're living in, you could change your whole entire life in 6 months, a year. You could change your business. You could go from getting not as many sales to just exploding just through the use of social media.
Well, there you have it. The words from an expert, Alexis Schuller from 17 West Management. It's been a pleasure having you on Influencer Podcast, and I look to hear more from you in the future, Alexis. I want to promote what you're doing because it's on the leading edge. You're young and enthusiastic, and we can all learn a lot from people who are in the thick of things, and I think that's right where you are. So thanks for being on the Influencer Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Bill.
You're welcome. Hey, this is Dr. Bill Williams saying goodbye on the Influencer Podcast for now. We'll be back with another episode in a short time, just a couple of minutes. So stay tuned, and we'll see you all on the next Influencers Podcast, streamed live from Atlanta, Georgia.